What's up everybody, this is Justin here to make a new review, this time of the very original Sentai series, Himitsu Sentai Goranger. So yes, it's about how a UN army called Eagle, they're made to fight a terrorist organization called the Black Cross Army, and now their Japanese branches have been nearly wiped out by the very enemies they were made to fight. In each regional base in Japan were pretty much only one survivor. These remaining survivors come together to a secret base in Tokyo to become the Gorangers. The members are Kaijo Tsuyoshi, the Red Ranger, Shinmei Akira, the Blue Ranger, Oiwa Daita, the Yellow Ranger, Asuka Kenji, the Green Ranger, and Peggy Matsuyama, the Pink Ranger. And for a few brief episodes, due to the actor being on some tour due to a play he was casted in, Daita is replaced by Kumano Daigoro. And helping the Go Rangers are Commander Edogawa, their commanding officer, and 3 female agents of Eagle that do reconnaissance work. Anyway, this was the original Sentai series, though for some reason it wasn't really recognized as part of this Super Sentai franchise until the 1990s. It is mostly story-centric, and the characters really don't develop by reasons of tabula rasa, since they are established and accomplished soldiers prior to beginning the show. But still, each character has their own unique contribution and use in every episode, and complement each other in their own way. I felt Daigoro did feel out of place because he didn't have the same kind of background as the rest of the cast who came together under the same circumstances. But the way his character left does leave an impact. The villains are pretty much comedic in my opinion. I mean, you have monsters and aliens who use Earth tech. They use Jeep as transportation, and they use Earth automatic machine guns. I know it's a cheap way, but it just doesn't make sense. I mean, in some episodes, the monsters can be transported in a Mercedes or in a limo, like they're the motherfucking boss or something like that. And after watching modern Sentai where that doesn't happen, this first series is just too silly to me, just beyond not just its age, but what's been presented. Yes, Tokusatsu is naturally silly, but this is just why would they bother using Jeeps and limos when they can use spaceships or just use lasers, or is the budget that fucking cheap? But the ending is forced, and for 84 episodes, the series goes on much longer than it needs to, despite having a forced ending. The battle just needed to end, and for that, I give the story and characters a 6 out of 10. While the action is a bit stiff and sloppy, martial arts and cinema was still a new thing even during Go Ranger's time, so it hasn't evolved to where it presently is. It does feel more authentic. Well, it does feel like more authentic karate with how wide they assume a stance and how they throw a punch from a wide stance and all that. But my issue with the action is the same as the original Kamen Riders. Due to weak sound effects, you can clearly see when strikes are not really landing, and the illusion, regardless of its age, isn't totally there, and it's hard to use that your imagination when you could see like a punch is right here, and you totally see it's like connecting 3 inches away. In addition, the characters all have their own unique weapons and fighting styles. Like Kaijo uses a rope, Peggy uses bombs, Shinmei uses a bow and arrow, Asuka uses a boomerang, and Oiwa uses a staff with a fist at the tip. Plus, they have a final attack where they use a football, and it can turn into anything, so it does have an element of comedy for its child-friendly audience. Granted, the action isn't as groundbreaking as, let's say, Enter the Dragon, but I rate the action slightly better than the hotel fight scene in the original Manchurian Candidate with Frank Sinatra. So I give the action another 6 out of 10. Well, the music does feel very childish to me, especially the theme song, but I have to remember this initially is a kids show, and the genre didn't have the emotionally evoking songs from big hit artists like modern-day tokusatsu programs. The music does have that funky beat from time to time, and also has a jazzy feel. The music really is in tune with the period and goes with the mood. But I do admit I do dig whenever Shinmei does a guitar solo. There are some good enka here and there, and that's good enough for a 6.5 out of 10. Well, if you're interested in the very beginning of Super Sentai, this is it. Does it stand up well? I say in terms of storytelling, it just wouldn't work since it was very episodic and the series just ends out of simple convenience. There is relatively no build-up to the ending. Still, the characters stand out in their own way and show unique individual qualities. Peggy always wears her short shorts and go-go boots. Shinmei always wears his cowboy getup. Oiwa wears these rainbow-colored clothes and the popular hats of the 70s. So it gives you a feel of the time period. But it's not just the content is what I find is cheesy, but the context. I still can't get over seeing the Sun Mask villain taking a ride in a nice car as a means of transportation, thinking it is some way of inconspicuously hiding him. It is cheesy, but to me, cheesy in a way where it will have you laughing, saying, "Why the hell are they doing this?" Ha 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 ha. But unfortunately, a few years after the conclusion of Goranger, the actor who played Oiwa Daita took his own life, and apparently he did so because he was frustrated with his acting career and he was going broke. The guy who played Kaijo was still friends with him, and they were neighbors, and he personally felt responsible that he was unable to prevent this. But in another strange, ironic twist, the first American Yellow Ranger, Tui Trang, who played the role of Trini, also lost her life after Power Rangers, and this was shortly before 9/11. Also, spoiler alert, Daikoro also wasn't the first Yellow Ranger to die in battle in the show. 10 years later, the Yellow Ranger in Bioman also fell in battle because the actress flat out quit acting for reasons still disputed to this day. Is Yellow cursed in both Power Rangers and Sentai or something? I don't know. I say people will have the right reasons in wanting to refrain from this series, and some people will also have the right reasons to watching it. I will admit after episode 50, I sort of wanted to give up on this series since I was used to the 50 episode format in which a quality story can be told. It just seemed like a never-ending battle, which contributes to why I give this series an overall score of a 6 out of 10. And look forward to my next review of Space Sheriff Gavan.